Everyone, we are so excited to have you for our last Mingle Mastermind of 2020. And we've got such a wonderful crew here of experts in the fashion industry. One of the things that has been a very difficult adjustment this year with COVID has been how to actually get the content that you need to, for promoting your brand, how to work with models and agencies in a time where we have social distancing. And the team that we've put together today are people who are all actively, successfully pivoting their modeling businesses in ways that are surviving and thriving during COVID. So we are super thrilled to have you. And I will introduce everyone now. Arkeah Jacobs. Arkeah, welcome again. We're so thrilled to have you here. This is the third time we've had you on Mastermind, and you are the new Faces Director for Hop Models and Talent Agency. And you guys work with models, actors, athletes, and celebrities all over the globe.
Yes, correct.
That's wonderful.
Third time's a charm, so thanks for having me again.
Thanks so much for joining us. Aneesah, I'm gonna screw that up. Say it for us.
Aneesah Hanan.
Aneesah Hanan. I'm so sorry. Someone always tells me how to pronounce her name, then it immediately leaves my brain. So.
I've heard worse. Oh
no. Well, it's a beautiful name, and we thank you so much for joining us, because you're a model, you're an entrepreneur, but you're also really big in the skincare industry. And so we're thrilled to talk to you about your experience as a runway model, doing commercials, and also what you're doing now as an entrepreneur in the beauty world.
Thank you. Well, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Thank you for joining us. We also have Beverly Peele, who is a supermodel, and she's also an actress and a domestic violence advocate, which we're really looking forward to hearing how you've been active in that part of your career as well. But you've been on the cover of more than 250 magazines. You've been in ads for Ralph Lauren, Donna Cara, Versace, and more. So thank you, Beverly, for joining us.
Oh, anytime. Thank you for having me and thinking of me for this wonderful Mingle session.
Fantastic. Well, we're thrilled to have you. We also have MSDENISHA, who is a top model coach and the owner of the Model Boutique. And MSDENISHA has been on our Mingle Mastermind sessions before. Did we just lose Miss? Oh, no, there you are. Okay. Hey, MSDENISHA, how are you?
I'm great. Yeah, you lost me for just a second. I am actually just finishing up with a job. So I'm on set still, but they had given me a little area to do my this panel. So I'm grateful for that. Yeah.
Well, we're thrilled to hear that everybody's booking work and you have jobs. So we are more than happy to accommodate that. We also have Ashley Rodrigues, who's a model and co-founder of a new online boutique. I'm going to mess up the name of that as well. So you tell us, Ashley.
It's Mar Amici.
Mar Amici. And tell us what Mar Amici is.
So Mar Amici is an online boutique offering sizes from small to 3X. And the whole purpose of Mar Amici is to create a more inclusive shopping experience. So me and my best friend, we love to shop. We love going shopping together, but it would suck because she would go to one side of the store and I would have to go to another side being a plus size woman. We could never shop and find items together. So, with quarantine, we were like, what can we do to keep our creativity going? We both love clothes. We love the process of, modeling, and she used to be a fashion photographer. So we decided to come together and create this online boutique where you don't have to go to different sections depending on your size. Everything is all together in one section. If you like an item, we have it in your size.
That's fantastic.
What's the price point, Ashley?
Everything is below $100. So our highest item, priced item that we currently have is a jumpsuit, and it's $75.
Good point.
That's fantastic. Okay, and from hailing from London today, we have fashion and beauty photographer Kay Sukumar. Did I say that right?
Yes, that was perfect.
Okay, awesome.
I'm not in London at the moment. Actually,
Oh, okay.
I'm in India. I'm shooting a documentary and a commercial. I'll be here for like another month. But
Okay, well, that's even more exciting.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us all the way from India. That's amazing. Love
Thank
that
you.
that you're able to travel and have a job and
Yeah.
get new work done in this situation. And then finally, we have a very good friend and longtime Fashion Mingle member, Carmen Powers, who's from Austin, Texas. I guess you're still in Austin right now, Carmen?
Yes, I am. I'm based out of here and then just starting to travel a little bit more, but yeah.
Wonderful. Well, Carmen has been a model since the age of 3, and she's worked for all kinds of in US and European markets. And I know she also does some training. So we're going to learn more about that and how she's pivoted in her career. So welcome to everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. And so let's just jump right in. And first of all, we want to talk about how the modeling industry has had to adjust during COVID-19. And Ashley just shared with us about her online platform that she developed. So Ashley, why don't you tell us, you've explained what it is, but tell us about, what new things you had to learn in order to get this e-commerce platform off the ground.
Yeah. So being that I am a model, I knew kind of, the e-com side of it. So I knew, how to set up a shoot, what I wanted, the look that I wanted our brand to go towards, but I really didn't know the technical side of everything. So I kind of had to step away from like being the model and learn how to be the business owner. And, since we're a small business and it's only the 2 of us, we do everything. So I really had to learn how to manage a business online, how to create a website, something I've never done before, and just learn, stuff about branding and marketing and all those kinds of things that being a model, you never really think of, because you show up, you do your job, you model the clothes, or you do what you have to do for your client, and then you go home. You don't really have to worry about how is this going to be posted online? How are they going to market? And now that I'm on the other side, I really had to learn those things. And I think it actually really helped me with my modeling as well, knowing both sides of the business, which I think is really good to know.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Kay, I know you as a fashion photographer, I mean, the model and the photographer has to work together, and you have to think about all of the social distancing and a lot of new issues when you're on set. Tell us what you've done with your business in this time period to address COVID issues.
Yeah, definitely. So it's a long story, but cutting it short. So once the lockdown happened, and there's only so many beers you can have and just sit on the couch for so many hours and watch Netflix for only that long. So I think I started experimenting with virtual shoots. And in the beginning, it was just like a fun thing. It was just like, okay, let's just see what comes out of it. And it was just experimental. But after that, it started working out so well, because before COVID hit, most of it. So obviously, I'm a commercial photographer, I'm an editorial photographer, but also how I got into photography was shooting model portfolios. So a lot of my clients are modeling agencies, and a lot of them wanted portfolio shoots done. So I started doing these portfolio shoots, and the formula I use for virtual shoots is exactly the same that I do for my in-person shoots. And it was an absolute hit. So, I would shoot in the morning, I would shoot my agent. So I would shoot for agencies like IMG, Chic Management in Australia. Then in the afternoon, I'll be shooting in Amsterdam and London. And then in the evening, I'll be shooting for agencies in New York and LA. So I would say I was more busy after the lockdown than I was before, you know, because I think it was just, it became so easy to talk to clients and get in touch with them. And through that came about all the commercials. So obviously I normally do shoot for Vogue, I shoot for Harper's, I shoot for Grazia, you know, and magazines like that. So once the lockdown happened, they were all dying for content. So I also shot a cover for Cosmopolitan virtually, and a couple of stories for Vogue, which is coming out in December. But yeah, so, you know, the lockdown has been good. And you know, I think before the lockdown, I've never explored how powerful the phones are these days, you know? And I think this lockdown gave me the opportunity to look into that. And I'll tell you what, the phones these days are like something else. You know, they are so powerful, and the images that come out of it are like, I think you can get off an iPhone, you get about 4 MB files, which is huge, you know, which is decent for online use. So, yeah, to be honest, it's been good. It's I think you know, my wife's pregnant now, so it's great to spend some time with her at home and get work done as well.
Yeah, that is wonderful.
So,
That's been such a beautiful thing, a COVID silver lining, to be able to look at our businesses in a different way. And also, it's just been great. Like you said, it's easier to get a hold of people now because we're not all running in so many different directions. And I know Arkeah and Dell work with modeling agencies. Arkeah, can you give us some examples of how Hot Models has had to adjust to, you know, have you experienced doing the virtual photo shoots?
We have, but as far as on the talent side, because I focus on, you know, interviewing new talent and things, because they're unable to travel into the office to interview, we're doing a lot of virtual interviews and things like that. So that can be an adjustment, but it's good because if we have a no-show, for example, I'm not waiting all day long for somebody. I was like, oh, well, I could just schedule somebody in your time slot because it's virtual. You know, I don't have to waste gas to go to the office because, you know, virtual. So, I mean, it works out. But yeah, we have had some models come through with virtual photo shoots, and the images are very nice. You can't tell the difference at all if it's shot right and by a photographer like Kay.
That's
yeah,
amazing.
Great additions to the portfolio.
That's great. And now, Noelle, you're one of our regular Mastermind panelists that have been with us since the very beginnings, and you're the owner of True Model Management. And I know that you actually introduced Kay. So have you and Kay been working together on projects?
Yes, we have done a few things together, and I look forward to doing a lot more because I just personally met him virtually the other day after we were already working together. So I was so happy that this COVID brought us together because, you know, I may not have ever really met him one-on-one. He's a super busy guy, and everyone's really busy at True. So not everyone meets everyone, you know, one-on-one. So I agree with Kay also that the phone has been instrumental. It's like I was talking to clients several this week that we've worked together for years, but I really never talked to the owner of the company before. But I heard that, you know, they were struggling, or even sometimes a bad thing can turn into a good thing. You know, a client was late on payment, and I was like, hey, you know, and I called the owner. I'm like, what's up? How can we help you? You know, let's put together a program, help you sell more clothes, you know, do whatever we can. So I think that, you know, we're talking about surviving and thriving, and it's good to survive, but it's great to thrive. And I think in both of those, it's like collaboration is like the key word for everyone. So whatever we could do to help each other. And thank you for putting together Fashion Mingle to bring all of us together. I think there'll be a lot of good. There's so much that everyone wants to say today, so I don't want to hog up the time. But yes, we've been doing virtual and avatars and different things like that, so we can communicate without being in person too. Wonderful. But our office is open on a limited basis.
yeah, it's awesome that you guys are able to. You're in Manhattan, and it was closed up for a little while, but you guys are doing castings and
photo shoots,
social distancing
there this morning.
Well.
Everything's a little slower though. We use like every single room and like one person at a room at a time. Got to disinfect everything, so you need more time in between appointments, and you know. you can't get to, I miss the hugging. I'm a big hugger. So like, I can't wait till COVID's over. I give her a hug.
I know this elbow thing is really dying quickly.
I know.
Yeah. Well,
Give me the elbow. I'm
Catherine-
like, what?
Catherine's also one of our regular panelists who's been with us since the beginning. And Catherine, I know you've been a producer of fashion shows in New York City for quite some time, but you've also managed to do some shoots this summer using models, working with fashion photographers. You've done some in studio and also outside. So tell us how that experience went.
Yeah, you know, the in studio stuff is problematic because you have to have a certain amount of people in the studio and you have to rotate them out and all that. So that's always something that's a logistic problem. But you know, if you keep the numbers tight, you can do it. And I think that, you know, doing things outside is really good too, because you're in the open air and you can get a lot of great natural lighting and a lot of great shoots that way. And, you know, it was funny because my old agent from Ford asked me to start modeling again. So she's got a new agency called Iconic. So it's like for models who want to make comebacks. So they're missing the plus size model who's a little older. So it's kind of interesting for me to be now back in the fray and shooting and trying to get content into them. And I realize the dilemma on both sides of the lens now, but I don't know. I said, yeah, sure. Why not? You know, if there's a need for it, she represents Carmen. So, I mean, how bad can that be?
Awesome.
And not
too,
Carmen
she
Powers,
represents
but
me
Carmen
too.
Powers.
That's great. That's good to hear. Now, Sharon, I know you're our resident fashion and business lawyer, and you've been on with us since the beginning as well. So it's having all my favorite people on here for our last one. But I know you actually work with a lot of new brands that are trying to launch their business. And they have to consider, you know, a lot of very difficult things with COVID because they still have to get their content. What kind of challenges are you seeing the brands that you represent face?
Yes, well, I'm gonna miss all of you, first of all. So it's sort of bittersweet, but I'm sure we'll be back next year. Because I think everyone loves these mastermind classes and has learned so much. And I've learned so much just being on, and I've met amazing people. But I'll have to say, with respect to models and having worked with models and modeling agencies and those that are creating brands for themselves, like everyone here, one thing that I will say, you know, as a model, you've spent your lives investing in yourselves through your lifestyle, your diet and exercise and all the things. And an extension of that is protecting your assets, all that wealth that you've built over the years. Generating wealth is one thing, but protecting it and preserving it is really essential. And so I help brands, including models, learn how to create asset protection strategies. And for those that started businesses like Ashley's, to make sure that they've created a separate entity, to separate their business from their personal. And because two biggest threats to assets, to wealth, is lawsuits and taxes. So creating entities is one way to help protect from lawsuits, your personal assets, and also maintaining a separate account. And also helps with, with your taxes and expensing a lot of things for your business. And also, creating an estate plan for yourself as well, making sure that whatever assets that you have, you've got directives, health directives. It's so important now with COVID, business interruption. These models, you're running your own business and you're your own brand. So making sure that you have your plan in place so that if you're not feeling well or you're not available, that someone is going to make sure that your brand continues to build on your legacy. We all take the time to invest in in your business. So you might as well create that extension and successive plan. So yeah, I help all these businesses start, creating that foundational planning that will lead them to growth and success and eventual legacies of the businesses that they've all created, such as everyone here.
Yeah, and I mean, definitely, it sounds like so many of us are pivoting into new areas that we may not have worked in the past, and so understanding the legal pitfalls and also the tax implications of these new businesses are a certainly important part of helping us pivot to these new areas. Aneesah, tell us how your career, like what have been the changes in your career from pre-COVID to now post-COVID? You've had a little bit of time to adjust to the changes. How's it going?
Been a shock. Fortunately, I had a job before, but on the other side of it, it was very positive because I did not realize, actually COVID brought out a lot of talents that I didn't know I had in myself. And like Ashley, I had started a business, and then I am now transitioning behind the scenes of modeling. And like you mentioned before, Sharon, I don't want to get that wrong, that, it's just the pressure of eating right and the skincare. I'm not going to lie. It felt so good to not worry about my diet and just to eat what I want. I'm not going to lie. I was like, oh yes, oatmeal pies. And so I did slack off, but I decided to just go move behind the scenes of modeling, which I like. I actually love developing models. And it can be challenging. I haven't found anyone yet. But with my business, like Ashley, I am still learning how to, because I was always in front of the camera. Now I'm learning, oh my goodness, okay, I don't have a model, so I'm going to have to do my makeup and take pictures of myself. And then I had to learn how to edit my pictures, make sure the lighting was good, make sure it was cohesive. I had to learn about marketing to, because maybe, your fan base online may not be the one who's going to buy your product. So I had to learn. I'm still learning how to operate a business, but it is fun and it's challenging at the same time. And the transition has been great as well. So
yeah, that's wonderful. I mean, did it feel difficult learning that technology side, or do you kind of have a natural knack for it?
It's not really that hard. I realized I had a little natural knack to it. I did. I'm not gonna lie. But the editing, the pictures, and the software, the Adobe, and like, what is this? So I just, oh my goodness. And you don't realize what you need until you get in the industry, like, oh my God, I do need that software. Oh my God, I do need this app. Oh, now I see how they make the skin, the tone on the skin look the same, the face lighter than the body, or the body dark, and then it's like, how do they focus on the product? So, I mean, I have taken so many pictures of my products and was like, I can't post them because it was more focused on me instead of the product. And then some were like, oh, it's the product, but is that really what I'm purchasing? It has been really challenging. So I'm still learning. I'm getting better, but it was, whew.
You'll always be learning when you own a business.
Yeah.
That's a great thing in life. Keep learning.
Yeah.
Or else you're not living.
Absolutely.
Especially with technology. My background is in technology, and it's just like, it's constantly changing. So you're constantly learning. But are you finding, like, where did you use tutorials on Photoshop, on YouTube, or how did you learn?
I did. I actually went on YouTube. There was this young girl, I forgot her name. She's not a model, but she started her YouTube and she started taking pictures of herself because short, the industry rejected her. And so she said, you know what? I'm going to learn how to take pictures by of myself. And that's what she did. So I learned I was learning what type of camera to use. There are like 50 million Canons. 50 million Canon cameras. you know, you walk in the store and I'm thinking, oh, I
One
just
for every occasion.
have a Canon E20.
And lenses.
Oh,
Oh.
I'm like, Canons everywhere. And then of course the cameras, I've learned that the cameras get upgraded, you know, the pixels. And then so the ring lights, different type of ring lights, backdrops, and yeah, so I learned. It's one thing to
have
show
we all been ordering all of these cool little gadgets and supplies from Amazon?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's you know, you think that some of this stuff for like an at-home photography studio would be too expensive, you know, or you know, light kits and backdrops and all of that stuff is incredibly cheap, and so you can find it very easy on Amazon. But then, of course, like you said, Aneesah, it's very hard to choose a camera. I've done that for years, and I've been through many Canons myself. So it is very, very hard to
and the pixels go
choose
up.
the right
I didn't
one.
realize that. It's just like a camera phone. The pixels
They
go
have
up
too
or
many,
they
there's
dip.
too many choices out there for everyone.
Yes.
Like there's too many options for you. It's like just have this or this or that for this or this or that. You got options to gazillion, like you so confusing, especially if you have like ADD and you're like, oh my God, squirrel, and oh, ooh, what's this? And
Natural lighting.
you're like,
studio.
What was so cheap was like all expensive, and you're like, dang, I spent that much money. I go return stuff all the time because I'm like, I really didn't need it, but I'm a victim to that. And Amazon has definitely become my best friend during this COVID. I know my driver, my Amazon driver, and it's
that's
like,
nice. Well, Beverly,
but it's good because you do a lot of self-help things and things to make yourself better as a person, and you finally have time to do this. And I don't know if you guys see me kind of talking offside, and my son is at home today for digital learning. So it's like, you know, but you know, aside from that, like it's crazy how you're just, the world is, it's a shame that it comes to a deadly virus that makes us more cautious about germs, because I've always been a germaphobe, and them keeping things clean, and you know, all of a sudden everybody's covering their mouth when they sneeze. Thank you. Like, I mean, you should have been doing that before, but things like that it's a shame you don't think about the potential risk. I just got back from West Africa, and what I would normally do when I go there, I didn't do. I was kind of upset at first that I had to be quarantined for 8 days. But then when I thought about it, just the fact of going to the spa, going somewhere, just interacting, just passing someone, you can, you know, potentially get it. And it like really kind of freaked me out. It opened my eyes like, whoa, okay, is it worth it for me to go do this job? Is it worth it for me to do all of this? Because then I put my children at risk. I put, you know, everybody around me at risk. So the whole doing the virtual meetings and the virtual interviews and the castings, and, you know, I had to do a photo shoot myself and take pictures, which I'm a horrible selfie person. Like, you would think that I know my angles in my life, but for me to take a picture, they come out like horrible. So I was like, oh my gosh, I have to do this while I'm helping my son with his math, while I'm like, I have puppy mastiffs, and like I'm used to doing the at-home thing at home, and I'm used to doing my modeling. When I leave the door, I'm Beverly the supermodel, but I've had to be Beverly supermodel and mom at the same time under one roof is like, like a little bit hard, but you have to juggle. I now know the meaning of juggling things that, like, I don't know how my mother did it back in the day and had dinner on the table at the same time every day, and, you know, helped us with all this stuff. Like, I thought I was pretty good, but it's that part I'm definitely learning. I feel like I need the Dummies Book 101, how to be like a professional mom, like, because I always leave it at work and I come home and I got home, you know, but now work isn't home, and it's like, you know, learning how to juggle that's been my dilemma, or my learning, what I've been learning through COVID. And then of course just teaching and seeing everybody just become cleaner, thank gosh, you know, because germs are germs, and obviously they're deadly ones, and then there's regular ones that make our immune system better. But it's tragic. I feel sorry. I feel bad for the kids growing up in this era, like, as opposed to kids that are older and what we remember as our childhood. We used to build forts. We didn't have like Xbox. We didn't have all that stuff to distract us from being a kid. We could use our imaginations and become a supermodel, become an astronaut. And now they just get lost in this box, you know. Or now my daughter, you know, growing up and having to wear a mask, she's not going to remember any of the good the good things that this world and all the beautiful little things this world has to offer, because there's so many restrictions now to keep us healthy.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Anyway.
Beverly, did you go to West Africa for a modeling job?
I did. I had a Beverly Peele's Ultimate Modeling Boot Camp. So it was like a little workshop, 3-day
Wow.
workshop where, you know, I teach the ins and outs, how to walk on the runway, your angling, your lighting, like what, you know, poses and all of that kind of stuff. And we added makeup because my daughter, who just turned 27, my oldest daughter, Cairo, she's like makeup extraordinaire and can beat a face down. I tell you, I don't even know how to do my own eyebrows, but she was supposed to come with me there, but she couldn't due to her businesses that she has going on here in Georgia. But we just added that, so that's another new thing that was pretty exciting. So I tried to handle that, but I flopped. I really did. I was like, just don't wear any makeup.
Well,
But,
Beverly, did you now these modeling workshops, is this something that you were doing prior to COVID as well?
I did a couple in California before I moved to Georgia. So last year I did a few. Those were kind of like the testers. And now I'm getting more of momentum during COVID. I'm getting a lot more, you know, feedback, and people, of course, they want to do online stuff, or they, once after West Africa opened in Paris and stuff, they want to, you know, jump on the bandwagon and have me come out, which is a beautiful thing. I love it. Anybody want Beverly Peele Ultimate Model Workshop, you know, just call my name. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I wasn't doing it as much. I did it twice before COVID. Okay. But it was very, very, to get all the vendors and the sponsors and all that stuff to ship everything and have everything in time, and with COVID and all that stuff, it was definitely a challenge. It was definitely a challenge that I would have liked to experience pre-COVID, so I could know. Yeah. Well, all I know is like,
so I mean, if you have this boot camp, I guess everybody was in person with you.
Yeah, there was some virtual, but only a handful. Most majority of the people we had, like, you know, sanitation stations all over the place, checking the temperature before you come in every day. Actually, one person was she had gotten there, and I guess she was hot. Her temperature was raised, but they made her do a COVID, and we had the nurses and everything, and they did the throat COVID test, and for, I think it's PA, I forget. Anyway, they did that, and because she had a temperature, so they were like, you know, it was like all of a sudden the swarm scooted in, and they like sectioned everything off, and they did her test, and 15 minutes later she was negative. But thank goodness, it's just so scary how the day before that she was fine, but due to her traveling so far to get to it, I guess she was just hot and overwhelmed, and her body kept up. So
that's interesting but you guys were taking temperatures and going through protocol like that to catch anything.
Yeah, and had masks, stuff like that. A couple of times I was just like, I just wanted to take my mask off, but I, you know, have to lead by example, and you know, I got a little pimple right here from it, but you know, hey.
Yeah. Well,
I don't have to do a full face of makeup anymore.
Well, pivoting in the fashion industry is like, it seems like that's like a normal thing that we've all had to do. But I know MSDENISHA and Carmen, both of you guys started out your career as models. You're still doing modeling, but you also actually do a lot of training as well, just like Beverly. MSDENISHA, tell us, you've got the model boutique, and you've actually got like a brick and mortar space, right?
Correct. Yes. And that's actually what I'm known for now. I mean, I'm on set now. And I mean, when we talked about success and thriving, by the grace of God, the client that I'm working for today has been so gracious. I mean, they literally worked around my schedule and changed it a couple of days prior. They have a 3-day shoot, and with several models each day. And I was one of the models that they actually said, okay, she has a panel to be on at 12 o'clock. This is what, you know, we have to get her out first. And so they really made some great adjustments. And that was because of the long-standing relationship that I've had with this producer, Brent Whitaker. We've worked together for over 15 years. And so we haven't seen each other for a couple of years though. So this is our first job in a couple of years, but he brought me back, and I'm super excited about being back on set because I do miss it. And so as a model coach, I do talk about longevity. It's not enough to just be cute and tall and thin. You have to really understand how to
Yeah.
We lost her for a
business.
second.
And if you don't know how to pivot, if you don't know how to pivot, I went from the 20s to the 30s to the 40s, now I'm 50, baby, okay? So you have to know how to pivot as your career changes. I mean, you do.
Right.
You can't wait for a pandemic. You can't wait for something to make you change. You have to understand that change is going to come no matter what, you know? So the professionalism and always being ready and staying ready and being, you know, when a client calls you, you know that it's your job to be prepared at any given time. I've been in the house for almost, 9 months, not just due to COVID, but I had a knee, I was diagnosed with a knee syndrome where it's called patellofemoral, where I literally woke up and could not walk, literally couldn't go up or downstairs, and I was in rehab for 4 months. A lot of people don't know that because I didn't blast it on my social media. But I was down for 4 months, could not go to the gym for almost 9 months. And people that know and see me on Instagram, I was always in the gym. So I had to change. I had my own personal change that I had to do. And because of that, I told my students, I said, you know, yeah, you can be walking in heels, you can work out, you can exercise, but then one day you can be gone. You can be flat on your, flat in the bed. So I had to make these changes a long time ago. And so as a top model coach, I really talk to my students about being able to pivot and trends come and go. And the professionalism is what matters most. Being good to people when you show up. Don't be having no diva attitude like it's all about you. Because it's not, baby. It's not about you, okay? It's about the client. It's about the product. And today I modeled for shoes. For the first time in my whole career, I actually was a shoe model. I'm working for a client who's doing a brand new campaign, and Grant thought of me, and they wanted someone that was seasoned, someone with curves, which I got, baby, okay? Curves now, my curves are here, okay? And
Yay.
yeah, it was about the shoes, and that's the first time in my whole career. Again, that's something brand new for me. So that was a real blessing. We, of course, we got our emails about wearing our mask and everything, but of course, I had my mask on until I got my face when they was doing hair, and I was the only talent that was told that it was okay to not wear our mask, but we all kept our social distancing throughout the day. And like I said, I'm on set away from them. And again, that's what pivoting is. That's the success to stand in business. You have to know how to pivot. It doesn't need a pandemic, baby. It don't, okay? So success, professionalism, and that's how you sustain. Yes, and being good to people, clients, if you're good to clients and you show up and you let them know that you appreciate them booking you, yes, and you are professional and you're ready to rock and roll when the time comes, and don't show up late and thinking it's okay because you stopped to got some coffee, because you stopped to got coffee, you late on set, that don't work, So yeah, as a top model coach, my whole agenda is to teach aspiring models how to be professional in longevity, how to stay in the game, baby, because that's where it's at. Yeah.
So are you offering online classes right now?
So what I have done with my current students, because I've been doing it since 2006, we have meetings online that are virtual, so they can ask me questions. They can continue to get my support, my coaching. And right now I can go on virtual like literally anytime, but what I do is I started a YouTube channel during quarantine. So I started that in March. So I actually have a channel where it's totally free for people to go on, and they can look at my videos, they can learn about the industry. I teach it right out of my book. Yeah, it's all online, and I just go from page to page, and it's launched every Tuesday on Top Model Talk Show. And I created that during quarantine.
That's awesome. That's fantastic.
Well, it's nice. I like it.
And we're working on some other things as well, Melissa.
Oh, are you? That's right. Yes. Yes.
Oh, very cool. Okay, awesome. So Carmen, now you've pivoted a lot in your career because you started as a little youngster at 3, but you've done all kinds of modeling, but you've also were doing modeling training as well. What has happened with your career during COVID?
So yeah, my 2020 started off amazing, and then, probably like everybody else's, came to a screeching halt. So I realized that I needed to, keep current, keep going, and do something a little different, because I had to stop doing my in-person training. And a lot of my training is also to prepare new models to go to agencies, and so they couldn't go see them, and so that kind of changed. So that's been really just virtual, and I can do one person at a time, wearing masks and everything. And I actually had several pageant girls calling me doing that. So we were able to do one at a time, and that really worked. One of them ended up winning. So that was kind of my first experience working with them, which was a little different, but it was basically using my skills on what I know, what I teach, and they could change it as they needed. But they wanted to be more presenting like a model. So it worked. It worked
That's
out.
awesome.
Anyway, yeah, and one like real runway, not what they're typically taught, which some of the girls just didn't want that. So that worked. Starting a podcast. And then
I didn't know that.
I had started my, the Model Focus, which is my training and workshops, because I had worked with through my agencies a lot. I had always done, they'd always asked me to teach runway, kind of come in and just teach new girls, especially how to walk. And so then I had a lot of photographers that I would show up on set, and they would say, other models we book will like their look or their book, and then they show up and that's not who they are, or they're not prepared, or they don't know what they're doing, they can't perform. So can you help us with that? You should start something. So yeah, and then also I had really have done more Zoom shoots and FaceTime than I ever thought I would, because people still need content, and so that's what I've been doing more so too, is with photographers who are doing a lot of e-commerce now, or content for smaller designers or brands.
Well, that's great. That's really
That's
cool
kind of everything.
to hear. And I know, Kay, you think that this shooting virtually is actually going to become a big part. I mean, we're not going to fully go back to the other ways. What kind of trends are you seeing in the industry that models need to prepare for?
Well, to be honest, I think nothing beats being in person, shooting a model or working for a client. But I think the ease of it is it's so easy and it's so cost effective that it's the quickest way to, like, just today, I got an email from one of the New York agencies actually saying, hey, I've got this one new girl that I scouted in I think it was in, where was this, Las Vegas, I think, and she'd like to shoot her. And I was like, cool, I'm available Sunday, and that's how it works. And because it's so easy, I think people are leading towards it a little bit more. And again, I wouldn't say that shooting virtually is for commercial shoots. I wouldn't say that it works really well for commercial shoots, only because you want to be able to see the detail in your clothing and your jewelry and whatnot, So, but it works perfectly for model portfolios, just because you get that right amount of detail. You don't really need to see all the designs on the model's outfit, and it's just enough. So it just works really fine, and especially with underage models and models that are in the industry for the first time or entering the industry. It's a lot more comfortable for them because they're at home. And, they've got their parents around them and whatnot, so it's a lot easier for models to warm up to what needs to be done, I guess, or what's expected.
Okay, when you say virtual,
that's provided that the model knows how to find their angles in their lighting, correct?
No, not at all. So, how I work is I send them a full information pack, which runs them through hair, which runs them through makeup. So I walk them through it. And with my tests, with my model portfolio shoots, I obviously don't, I don't recommend too much makeup on. Obviously, I try to keep it very natural, just because that's what the client wants to see. They want to see what the model looks like without a lot of makeup on, and so they can design their shoot around the model's look. So I fully guide them through hair, through makeup. And before the shoot, I give them a call on FaceTime, and we go through their place. So I pick the spots, and I direct. I talk a lot, obviously. So I talk a lot while we shoot. So I have to direct the model, and I have to direct the person who's holding the phone. So there's a lot of talking, but it works out fine because and the way I shoot as well, I don't. Even my in-person shoots, like, there's no big poses. Like, I don't, I think model portfolios are supposed to be effortless and simple and natural, because you know, you don't want them to be doing big jumps or cartwheels and things like that. You know, you want to see what the model looks like, you know, clearly. So because the whole point of a model portfolio is to get the model booked for the bigger jobs.
Correct. Correct.
Because you know, and I think a lot of photographers forget that, and a lot of makeup artists or stylists forget that when they go work on a model portfolio shoot, because you know, it becomes about proving their skill. And you know, while shooting a model portfolio, it's nothing about you. And I think shooting virtually has proven that even more, because now I'm just directing. I'm not even, you know, like, and pushing a button really. Like, I'm not even like going about complicated lighting setups or you know, doing big poses, you know, like, it's just basically very simple shots, but then again, making the best use of the light, and you know, making the best use of what the model is giving you as well. Because I think, I suppose, you know, it's always good to push the model a little bit, but then again, kind of seeing what you get out of that as well, and not make them uncomfortable.
Very cool.
Yeah, but I've been shooting model portfolios for about 9-10 years now. Like, I've shot model portfolios in like New Zealand, in Australia, London, a lot of Europe, in Asia. And I think it's great to bring that expertise into virtual shooting. And I'm hoping to make it a brand, just because of how well everyone's responded to it. And how quickly people can get in touch with me and just be like, hey, I've got this model in this part of the world, and can you set up a shoot? You know, so I call it Generation Virtual. So I've set up a new Instagram account on the side, and that's obviously growing. And a lot of non-models have gotten in touch as well, and I've shot a lot of non-models on there, just because I think, you know, I suppose they feel comfortable experimenting with it, because there's not a whole lot they're losing from it. You know, they're at home, they're comfortable, and they can kind of have a go and see what comes out of it for them, I think. So yeah, it's been absolutely great, and I think I'm vouching for it to go that way, I suppose, but it won't entirely go that way, I don't think, but it'll be an added element to model portfolios, I guess. And with the phones becoming more and more powerful now, the phone cameras, I suppose in the future you could do commercial shoots with them, but then again, I think you know, nothing beats being in person. And
can you add your contact information to the chat section in case any models want to get in touch with you for doing virtual?
Definitely.
Yes.
And also, I think a couple of people were talking about struggling with, you know, picking the right lighting or picking the right camera. One of my first mentors, he always said, the best camera is the one that you can have with you all the time. So just use what you have. Don't make it complicated for yourself, you know, because at the end of the day, when the image comes out, no one really cares how you shot it. It's the image that matters. You know, you could use 20 lights to shoot it. No one really cares. So, you know, use natural light. It's the best light, you know, use natural light to start with anyway. And yeah, you'll figure it out as you go, I guess.
That's awesome. I mean, it sounds like maybe we've been overcomplicating this for a long time.
There's a really cool, so there's a website called Skillshare.com. It's a really nice platform. It's free for 2 months, and then you pay like, I think $20 a year or something. And it's got tons of classes on there. I've also done a couple of workshops for individuals on phone photography and whatnot. But if you jump on Skillshare.com, you can, there's tons of little workshops and proper courses that are broken down chapter by chapter on every topic you need. So phone photography, if you're looking at, you know, I don't know, crafts, if you're looking at whatever you're looking at, it's a great website. So jump on it, and you know, it'll definitely do.
It is
Skillshare.
Skillshare.com, yeah.
Skillshare.
Yeah, it's very good. Like, even if you're looking at like trying to improve your phone photography for that matter, jump on it, and there's about like 10-15 different courses on just phone photography, and they take you through every single detail and setting. Like in the beginning, when I first started doing virtual shoots, I jumped on it and did a course on phone photography just to understand a phone. So you know, and after that, I've given a few courses on phone photography to people. So, you know, it's a great little platform to pick up any little skills that you're missing and you're looking to improve on.
Very cool. That's great information. Now, Ashley, now you are a plus size model, and I know the industry is really changing into more diversity, inclusivity, and just wanting models of real women. Have you seen a change in your career since COVID?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think, well, starting off with the new adjustment, just, you know, before with a casting, you would go in person, and they would be able to see you in person and see, you know, how you look, what your features are. And now with everything being online and, you know, through video, I think what's changed the most for me is that now I really have to work on my branding and my, you know, social media, because they're judging me not only off of what they see, you know, on my portfolio, but now they would go on social media before, but definitely now even more, because they can't see you in person. That's what they're going to be checking. So I think for my career so far, what's really been changing is I've kind of had to become my own photographer, you know, in beginning, before virtual shoots really became, you know, a thing. I was setting up all this stuff at home and kind of trying to continue to brand myself, because there were no more castings. I couldn't go into a client and they can see me and then pick me based off of that. It was anything that they were seeing online, my body type, my shape, you know, and how I brand myself. I think has really changed.
Yeah, I think that's such a good point, is that people are looking at your Instagram account first, you know, and judging on that before they would even get to your online portfolio. Arkeah, I want to wrap up with you, because I know that, you know, you are working, you know, you're out there looking for new faces. That's your job. You are, I'm sure you have to ask a ton of questions, or you have to answer a ton of questions for all of these new people that are getting into the industry. What kind of advice are you giving to models and actresses and, you know, all the different kinds of talent that you work with, so that they can actually have, you know, be able to understand that they're going to have to pivot, and how do they actually figure out which direction to pivot with the skills that they have?
Okay, the first thing I tell them is, this is not the time to jump ship and try to terminate your contract with your agency. This is the time to develop your material. This is the time to build yourself. You know, whether, like Miss Denisha said, she's now into shoe modeling. So, you know, figuring out, you know, where you are and what you want out of your career at this time is what you need to be assessing and building on there. Number two, keeping realistic expectations. You know, some people fail to realize we are in a pandemic. And like Ashley was saying, you know, and even Cameron, is it Carmen? Sorry, Carmen. Certain clients are sitting on budgets. Things, you know, kind of went on a standstill because nobody understood what was going on with this pandemic. So you have to have realistic expectations, knowing that modeling is not an industry that grants, you know, instant stardom. It is an investment. You have to work, you know, on it. You know, whether it's modeling or acting, you have to perfect your craft. And this is the time to do that, whether it's taking, you know, workshops, learning a new skill set, whether it's, you know, virtual photography, or even on the business side, you know, having a boutique or something like that, just to offset or either venture into something new. But you have to be open and be flexible. You know, it's not solely the agency's responsibility to build or jumpstart your career. You have to do your part. A lot of times, some people think that, you know, oh, I have this downtime, I'm not going to watch what I eat. I'm not going to watch my skincare. I'm going to do whatever I want to do. But you're not staying client ready. As long as you're under a contract, you have to stay client ready. Because at any minute, you can get a phone call and needed to be on set, you know, the next day for a photo shoot. So you don't want to let yourself go. You know, everybody should be coming out of this pandemic with 6 packs, the best body they could ever build,
not beer,
the best personality. Because, like Miss Denisha was saying, to have longevity in this industry and to thrive and not strive, a pretty face will keep you striving, but having the right personality and the right mindset is what's going to thrive, have you thriving within the industry. So I tell them, you know, be mindful. We are now brands. The model is a brand, the agency is a brand, the client is a brand. We're all brands working together for a common goal, and that is to, you know, build your career, but it takes time. And even doing a lot of virtual meetings and just being on Instagram and living that virtual life, it's kind of hard to, where some feel it challenging to still have your foot in reality because they get so caught up with what anybody can post on Instagram. So you have to be mindful of that. You still live life in reality. You know, don't be so caught up in virtual where you're comparing yourself to what another model booked and, you know, get caught up in competing. Well, she just booked an editorial in Vogue, and how come I'm only getting Target? Everything is based on your marketability and your look at that given time, based on what the clients are looking for. It's an industry that's based on client needs, not agency preference. I would want everybody to book an ad for Coca-Cola, but if you don't have the look Coca-Cola is going for, then you have to wait your turn. You know, it's not my fault. It's not your fault. It's just, it is what it is. So when you understand those things, and I say take this time to develop and mature and perfect your craft, that's what, you know, you should be doing. And that's when you move from a state of striving, you know, to thriving and being a top model and a supermodel like Beverly. We all trying to get there one day.
I know, girl.
And you know,
I'm gonna put the oatmeal pie down.
Guys,
Oatmeal pie.
I have to head out, but I just want to say thank you so much for having me. I actually have to run to a casting.
Yay,
But
work.
thank you so much for having me.
Yay.
It was great. And I hope to continue, you know, in the future, if you guys have these again, to continue to talk to all of you. You guys are all great. And have a good day, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you,
you
Ashley.
too. Have a
Thank
good
you for joining
weekend.
us. And
Bye,
definitely check out
I'm gonna call
Ashley-
you.
check out Ashley's website. I'm really excited to see what she's done. And it's in the chat. Maramichi.
Marmichi.
Maramichi.
And Melissa.
Okay, thanks, Ashley. And
Melissa.
everybody
Bye.
who has joined us today. You all have such wonderful insight, and everybody's facing their own unique situations. And so I really appreciate you being so open and sharing about where you are in the industry, the challenges and how you're pivoting. And, you know, definitely Fashion Mingle has been honored to have so many talented wonderful members on these panels all year long, and it's been a great opportunity for me to get to know some of you, for me to be introduced to more people, and I think the group that we have here today is a perfect example of just all of the wonderful networking we can do all over the world, just by jumping on Zoom. So I really appreciate you joining us.
Zoom is
Happy
awesome.
Halloween, everybody.
Yes.
Oh yeah, happy Halloween,
Yes.
everyone.
Yes, my daughter turns 8 tomorrow. My daughter turns 8 tomorrow.
Happy Mommy Day.
Don't forget to vote. How many people have
Already voted.
8 tomorrow on Halloween, my Halloween baby. But I did want to say this. And then what, Melissa, I want to tell you, that's another pivot I did, what Arkeah was saying. I actually started a Zoom workout for my students so that they can jump on Zoom free twice a week to stay in shape. Because I used to teach cardio kickboxing for Lifetime Fitness. So if y'all interested in seeing my
Lifetime
videos,
Fitness? I love Lifetime Fitness.
All right.
so, well, I got to record it in my living room. I got links, baby. If y'all want some in-home, yes, I got
So you
several
be careful
videos.
with
What's
your
going
knee.
in?
When do we
That
sign
is
on,
awesome.
Miss Denisha? When
All you gotta do is email me, MSDENISHA@yahoo.com, and ask for a link, and I'll make it happen. Yep.
Yeah. And definitely, if you're a Fashion Mingle member, you can connect with any of our guests over the Fashion Mingle chat system. So just log on, go to the message center, and send one of our guests an email. Also, if you have not got to see all of the masterminds this year, I know we have some very loyal followers. Thank you. I see so many of them on each week. But you can go to fashionmingle.com /mastermind and see all of the mastermind blogs that we've created and the full videos. So thank you once again for being a part of Mastermind, and have a wonderful holiday season, and we will see you.
See you 2021.
Yes.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. See you later.